blackout from taking place, they go and buy up the tickets, and it winds up getting given to local youth groups or whatever. I'm aware of one case here in Arizona where the Cardinals had a Veterans Appreciation Day, and they gave 6,000 tickets away to various veterans groups. Mm-hmm. And if I wasn't going to be in the building that day, I would have grabbed those set of those tickets right away. I probably would have grabbed six tickets, and I would have brought 5 people with me. But there are teams that understand this. Okay, the Jets have not been good with this at all, where the Giants have really, really been very good with this. They never allow a blackout to take place. I know for a fact. I had this conversation with Pat Hanlon, the vice president of media for the Giants, about 3 years ago, probably the next to last time I was in the building in MetLife Stadium before I came out here. And, we were just passing small talk, and he said, that's why this team is different from a lot of other professional franchises in all of sports, not just football, because Mr. Mara and Mr. Tisch do care about the fans, and they will make sure that a blackout never takes place for a New York Giant game. And that, to me, says something, that there are owners that realize how ridiculous some of these rules are, and that they're willing to do what they can do to not illegally circumvent them, but circumvent them for the benefit of the fans.
You're listening to the Sports Fix. Dr. Football Bill Chachkes talking with J-Rock here, myself, as we're talking a little NFL. Moving on from that, I saw the Raiders. Word breaks out last night. They fired their head coach over the phone, which is totally a Raider thing to do. I mean, you can totally – that didn't even surprise me when I saw that. I said, man, I mean, you could have emailed him, sent him a fax. Maybe you texted him. I mean, who knows. But I just find it amazing that you fire the coach 4 weeks into this thing, and obviously they're in the middle of a 10-game losing streak if you go back to last year. I always find it amazing when a coach gets fired so early into any season in any sport, because it tells me that management was not really sure they even wanted to bring you into this season to begin with, and then they quickly said, man, I knew I should have fired that guy in the offseason. But how do you fire the coach and not the general manager who does great things like sign Matt Flynn and then bring you another overpaid quarterback, Matt Schaub, who, whatever. But what did that last? A week or two? And now we got the rookie going out there. I mean, the Raiders are just the sign of dysfunction, man. And this just par for the course that they fired him over the phone.
What makes me laugh is that there are actual veteran players that they know they're doing well on their current teams, and they decide to make the current team the former team, and they go to the Raiders. And then, when things don't work out the way they are, you get an article that comes out of the blue that says, for example, Justin Tuck unhappy in Oakland, would love to stage a return to New York for less money. Of course. Well, you never should have left in the first place. Same thing I heard recently, that OCU Manure is not all too happy in Atlanta. Well, get on the train then. You get on the Amtrak and go back to New York and plead your case to Jerry Reese, and I'm sure they can find a contract for you.
Brother, this is the same.
Ridiculous. You know why you left. You left because you wanted more money, and when you're trying to get more money to break the financial structure of a team. Hey, I don't always agree with the teams either when they say they're not going to pay a guy over a certain amount of money. The Giants' pass rush the first couple of weeks was abysmal, expecting Jason Pierre-Paul to do the whole thing and Devontae Moore to handle the whole thing. And you could pick 5 other teams that had that issue where players walked away from teams to go to the Raiders or some other poor team for more money, and they're not happy it doesn't work out, and then they're crying to the fans. Especially, they're doing this on Facebook. J-Rock, oh my God, that is not what Facebook is intended for. At least not to me.
There's a lot of things that go on Facebook that it wasn't intended for. Let me tell you, man, the Raiders, just not that you need any example. I mean, you could literally reach in a bag and pull out an example of their dysfunction, but here's one. The Browns cut Greg Little in the offseason, who literally couldn't catch a cold and hold on to it, man. He never had to worry about getting sick because he could not hold that cold for his life. But he wasn't, the body hadn't even gotten cold yet. And the Raiders, no other team but the Raiders, jumped up and said, oh, man, yeah, we'll sign Greg Little. That didn't last. But as soon as that happened, I said, well, of course the Raiders would sign him. I mean, that's totally a Raiders thing to do. Let's get a whole roster full of wide receivers that can't catch the ball to go with the quarterbacks that can't throw them the ball. And listen, man, at least Cleveland screws things up, clears the decks, and lets a new group of people come in and screw things up over the recent history. The Raiders are the kings of, yeah, they'll change a coach, but they leave the front office. They leave management in place. They always blame the wrong people for the problems in that franchise. And I'm sure here's another one because Dennis Allen, maybe he wasn't a great coach. I don't know the first thing about him as a coach. I don't follow the Raiders that closely, but I guarantee you Dennis Allen is not the lone and existing problem that's going on there with the Browns. Much like Chud was not the lone and existing problem that was, the Browns had plenty more problems than him when they went into the offseason. But it is what it is. I just thought firing him over the phone was a totally Raider thing to do. Hey, I mentioned earlier in the show, Bill, I got such a chuckle last night after the Monday Night Football game. The clip has gone viral of the media guy asking Belichick if it's time to reevaluate the quarterback position after last night's game, talking about Brady, and the roll of the eyes and the look on Belichick's face was priceless. He didn't even answer it. But I didn't even notice this during the game. Pro Football Talk had the clip of after the first touchdown that the Patriots scored last night. Brady hits the sideline, high fives everybody around him except Jimmy Garoppolo. Literally gives him the cold shoulder, high fives everybody else. Makes you wonder if that's, I don't know, because Brian Hoyer always talked about how closely him and Tom Brady worked as the backup and the starter, and I've always heard that from other people too. Makes you wonder if maybe there isn't some tension behind the scenes with Brady and Garoppolo, because maybe he really is the one that is eventually going to replace him.
Well, it's not only that. They said the same thing about Ryan Mallett a couple of years ago, and
True.
Where is he? He was the darling. He was the darling of the team.
Absolutely. Oh, look, man, we're talking about a rookie here. I thought it was a trick. I'm not in any way going, yeah, maybe Tom Brady should step aside. But I noticed that was funny. And clearly that's becoming a story now if people zeroed in on the footage and isolated the fact that he gave the cold shoulder to his backup quarterback there while he was high-fiving everybody else. But I'm telling you, Bill, if you haven't looked at it, I think it's on NFL.com. Just go look at the question that's asked of Belichick where they go, is it time to reevaluate the quarterback position? At that point, I felt a little less frustrated with some of the questions that I hear people ask the Browns coach, because I'm like, well, at least everybody thinks up stupid questions and not just some of the media that I see on a day-to-day basis here. So anyways, Dr. Football, Browns getting back into action here after a bye week. We had a fun week for the rest of the NFL, but the Browns are back at it. They're going to Tennessee, taking on a Titans team who is really starting to free fall with the last three games, especially the 41-17, whatever that was the other day against the Colts. They've been outscored by like 100 points in the last 3 weeks. A good, ideal situation for the Browns if they have to go on the road coming out of the break to go take on a team that's really splintering over the last few weeks.
Yeah, well, you know what I'm going to say, J-Rock. This is that old trap game, staring them right in the face.
Absolutely, you're right.
Too overconfident. Don't get overconfident. Tennessee is a bad team, just looking for an excuse to become a good team in 2 quarters of football. And if there's any team that could do that, even with the guys, even with the turnover in the roster the past year, this is a team that could do that. So the Browns need to be they need to be on 100%, 10% alert here. This is not, we don't have to worry about the 2 to 6 watch. Nothing's going to happen. We're going to stand in the guard tower and smoke a cigarette. No, that's not going to happen, because this is a team that they're like a wolverine or a cornered rat. They could jump up and bite you on the neck, and you could be laying dead on the floor next to your washing machine.
Oh, I agree. You got the backup quarterback. I mean, you've got everything in your favor here, and you hit it on the head. It is the thing that I'm hoping is that the Browns can't fall for a trap game. I'm hoping that they're not in their head and in the clouds that much that doesn't matter. I mean, obviously you wonder, but perhaps the way they came into the bye with a loss and the taste, I'm hoping, and the fact I've brought it up, that even with the last 3 games for the Titans, they're going into this game a 1-point favorite over the Browns because they're the home team. So, I mean, if you need to look any further, you need to look no further than the line of the game to go, hey, we shouldn't be looking past anybody. But I agree with you. There's everything there. Browns fans marking it down as a win. Browns players cannot do that. And we'll during the week with our previews, we'll get closer to it. But a great call there, Bill, because if the Browns do go into Tennessee and it just walk in there thinking that the game's already won, they can walk out of there with a loss, and then they'll really be scratching their heads and they have a lot to talk about. So they've got to go in there, and you've got to go in there and pretend that it's the New Orleans Saints all over again, that it's the Baltimore Ravens all over again, and prepare for a team that will slap you around. And then if it doesn't happen, great. You came in prepared. Much better than the opposite, which is to go in there thinking, yeah, we're going to kick the Titans around, and then you walk out of there limping and holding your tail between your legs. It definitely is the definition of a trap game for the Browns.
Yeah, those receivers are still good receivers. And with the issue,
Hunter and Wright,
that the defensive backs have had a little bit here at the beginning of the season getting going, especially Joe Hayden not being, missing a couple of coverages. That could easily go from being, a 10-point lead to a 10-point deficit, in the space of 15 minutes.
I agree. Dr. Football, my man, next week the Browns will be back at it, so we'll be able to look at that Titans game, and then Pittsburgh's coming back for round 2. So we'll have a lot to go into. We'll see the latest as the week rolls on. We'll know who the Raiders tag there to be their next coach, and we'll see what happens in week 5 and so much more. And we'll see who else wants to ask Bill Belichick dumb questions next week. It'll be interesting to see all of that. Dr. Football every Tuesday here with us to talk about it. Bill, enjoy your week. Enjoy the next week of NFL slate, and we'll talk next Tuesday.
Yeah, my apologies, man, but I got here anyway. We'll talk about
good.
it. I'll leave you with one thing. I'll leave you and everybody else with one thing. We've got a quarter of the season done, and I guarantee you nobody assumed that the Arizona Cardinals would still be undefeated 25% of the way through the season.
Undefeated, no, but I definitely expected them to follow up last year with a strong season. You kind of opened my eyes there, talking about Arizona last year. I've been paying attention to them through the offseason, and I've always had a soft spot for Coach Arians. So, yeah, we'll see what's going on. You're right about that, man. Yeah, absolutely. He was a guy, again, 2 coaching searches ago, I wanted him to be the Browns coach. The NFL is full of guys that I wanted to be the Browns coach. They keep picking the ones I don't want. So maybe one day they'll ask me my opinion, but until then, I'll just share it with you. Dr. Football, my man, have a great week, and we'll do this again next Tuesday.
Okay, you too, man. Be well.
You got it. My man, Dr. Football. You guys can tweet with them at Ask Dr. Football. When we come back, final break. Let's get it out of the way here. Or not the final break, but the next break. Let's get it out of the way. When we come back, Doug Plagens, the voice of the Lake Erie Monsters, joins us live from Monsters Training Camp. Coming up next here on the Sports Fix.
Warning. Listening to the Sports Fix could cause serious injury, bodily harm, or even death.
Ah, broken blood vessel!
You've been warned. The Sports Fix.
Hey guys, before we go to the break, I want to talk to you a little bit again about our good friends at Harry Buffalo North Olmsted, the UFC, the Ultimate Fighting Championships, some of the hottest fights in the world today. Each and every one of their huge events, Harry Buffalo is one of the few places in Northeast Ohio you can go there and watch each and every UFC fight